So when we worked together, it was the height of the kind of D20 boom.
Vicious days, vicious.
Vicious days, yeah. And I see a lot of people doing kind of the same thing with 5th edition, but Mongoose has been kind of conspicuously absent. Not entirely, but you haven't done the same thing. You haven't flogged that dead horse again. And can you explain the reasoning behind that?
Yeah. We kind of approached the market a bit differently today. I mean, when we started with D20 books, we were late to the party. People have been publishing for a year before we came along. And when we launched, I drew up a big list. There were over 100 other publishers that had either already released books or announced them. As I made a joke earlier about it being vicious, it was super competitive. But we managed to clamber our way to at least somewhere near the top. These days, we don't do that at all. Doing things like Traveller and Paranoia, we've kind of removed ourselves from a large part of the market. And we don't, to the extent that we don't really see any other company as a direct competitor to us anymore, which has the good effect that we now get on well with companies that we deal with. We don't see that they're trying to pinch our customers because we are doing something that's different enough. I mean, Traveller, if you're into your sci-fi, Traveller is the granddaddy of them all. And Paranoia, someone going to do a competitor for Paranoia? Good luck. People have been trying decades, and that was lightning in a bottle. So we're kind of removed. We don't have the, shall we say, business intelligence network that we had set up in the D20 days. And we were very, very good at that back then. We knew all the gossip. To the extent that I didn't know that 5e was using OGL. Didn't know. I mean, I do like 5e. I caught myself thinking, I wish this was the version I was playing at when I was in sixth form, because we were very deep into AD&D back then, and I do like 5e a lot, but we've kind of stepped away from that kind of playing. So yeah, it's mostly Traveller, Paranoia, Sea of Thieves here now these days.
Yeah. Anything coming along that you can hint at, reveal?
Oh, there's loads of stuff. There's always loads of stuff. You've got to figure that we've got a bunch of people in the office who come here every day for at least 8 hours a day. This is a full-time job, and all they're doing is making RPGs. We don't have any administrative staff here. Everyone here is a creator. So there is a constant flow of new product coming out. So, I mean, I can say there's a new edition of Paranoia coming out this summer. You should see, if all goes well, a couple of supplementary hardbacks for Shield Maidens, and there's enough Traveller stuff in the works to stun an ox. Actually, before I just came up here, I was looking at a proposal for a new grand campaign, because one of the changes we made to Traveller, in the past, Traveller has always been about the hardware and the rules, but we've concentrated in this edition more on setting and especially story, remembering RPGs are a storytelling medium, so we should probably do some decent stories for Traveller. So we started doing these grand campaigns that you pick them up and they could easily last group 2 or 3 years if they're meeting once a week. Things like Pirates of Teknoaxe, we're expanding the Ancients trilogy. This one focuses on the nature of AI and questioning the meaning of existence. So hopefully you should hear about that one later this year.
That's interesting, because I mean, the wisdom always used to be back in the day that adventures of everything that you create are the thing that doesn't sell very well.
That's still true. And we can see it with our regular 32-page type adventures. But whilst they individually don't sell all that well, they do drive the sales of absolutely everything else. And we do like to focus on what I call the lazy games master. That's me. I'm a lazy games master. I like everything laid out in front of me. So we don't just give you the core books and a setting book and say, hey, make your own adventures. We say you got these. Plus, if you just get a hold of these books here, then you'll have enough to run a campaign for years.
Yeah, that is the side of it I think people don't appreciate about the received wisdom, is if you have a product line, an adventure is a way of showing that product line is still alive.
There is that, but it's also if I'm looking at, I won't mention them, I was looking at another publisher's games thinking, oh, I'd really like to play that in our regular Friday sessions here. But there was no campaign to it. They'd released a couple of adventures, which is great to get you started, but we want to get our teeth into the game and the setting. And there just wasn't anything to do that. You come to Traveller, you've got your pick.
Yeah. Though from the other side, I have heard people lament the loss of the kind of individual encapsulated adventure, because it seems like everything you buy these days is, I mean, just looking at the D&D stuff, you know, it's a big grand campaign that will take you from level 1 to level 20.
Yeah. Well, we try to hit it at both ends. So if people go to our website, there's adventures and campaign section. You'll see the big campaigns. You'll also see a whole bunch of standalone adventures, each slotted into, we group them by which sector you're playing in, because, I mean, Spinwood Marches is the typically the default for many Traveller groups. We've done a lot for the Trojan Reach, which is the sector just below. We started going into the Soleimani area, and you can pick adventures from each of those areas, because each has its own feeling, and we got different things to say about each area. So they all have their own flavour.